and they said that this could look good. It's Junior X30, it's qualifying Heat B and C, and they make their way out in circuit.
And of course, the temperatures come up again a little bit. It's up to 10 degrees Celsius now, the air
spicy
temperature. So now we're going to get a track temperature of about 18, 19 degrees Celsius, I would say. So obviously, the teams have to make the adaptations to the tyre pressures to accord for that. Hugo Magnas and Aston Sharp on the front row of the grid, then Thomas Kinsey and Romain Roussel, Angelina Proença and Harrison Mackie, then Dan Dalakian and Tizi Kuznini, Sacha Van Bosch and Freddie Lloyd, both from Sacha and Toby Gale, Louis Comines and Sebastian Mins, then Jansen Graham and Isaac Phelps, Kilian Josselin and Wouter Bogigno, then Timo Koopmans and Alex Martinez, Raoul van Thalen and George Nassar, from Giovanni Talavona, Matt Corby and Hugo Marti.
Nice little grid out there, and of course 25 of them take a bite of this one. Not one of the biggest grids that we've got out there, but still a fine grid. Getting those tyres well up to temperature, and in the background there.
Is that George Nassar going sideways again?
I think it was, yes, very, very sideways. But of course, well, maybe that's a sight really to show that these tyres, the harder of the two MG compounds that are being used this weekend, are a little bit more difficult to get up to temperature quickly. So yes, you may see those sort of actions get used, but it didn't work out on the first time he did it, did it?
It certainly didn't. He went grass tracking and then he went stone tracking, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it is a tough skill. It is a tough skill to get these tyres and brakes to the temperature you want them, and you have to be very careful with it. You have to be pacing yourself a little bit on the formation lap. You do need to slide around a lot, because obviously that's what generates the heat, that's what generates the temperature. But the fine line between weaving from side to side and getting the temperature in and flying off the road is quite marginal, actually. And people, you know, you mock drivers for going off on the formation lap, but you've really got to work hard to get those tyre temperatures and brake temperatures to rise.
Very easily done. And when you do that, you do heat up your tyres, all four of them, in fact, in one very specific spot on the tyre. You superheat those tyres.
Yeah, just one patch,
yeah,
unfortunately. But no, you need the whole tyre to do it. So it's a tough skill. It is a very tricky part of the race prep, and you know, the drivers do have to work a lot to get it right. And again, you know, the difference between nailing the tyre warm-up sequence and getting it very badly wrong indeed, or overheating tyres, if you like, you know, is quite marginal. And it can be the difference between gaining places and losing several on the first lap. So you really do have to be quite considerate to that as you come through. Now, Magnas and Sharp getting themselves up to speed. This is going to be a tight start, but it is a good one. Magnas to the first corner. Oh! And no problem. Straight off the road goes one of the... that's Sacha Van Bosch. That is Van Bosch going straight off the road in the victory lane karting car. So that's gone terribly wrong for the Red Speed driver. And there's more problems. More problems. One of the Fusions have gone flying off the road. That is the 22 going sideways. That's Jensen Graham. Straight up a Mini, up into Junior, and he shakes his hand in the air. What on earth were you lot playing at?
That looked like he went off on the inside of the corner and then came back. So I'm not sure how that happened. But a very interesting start to this race, and two drivers straight off the track at fast parts of the circuit as well. I don't want to look underneath Sacha Van Bosch's car after that one off at turn one. Rest of the field still goes through. There is the number 27 of Daniel Dalacan, and he's fallen way down the order.
Yeah, it really has. It's not been the easiest of situations, has it? Out in front, though, Thomas Kinsey has come through to take the lead. So Kinsey finally leading a Junior X30 race in the Euro Series. Up the inside, big lunge on the inside of Proença. And that is going to be a change for position. And look, Angelina Proença is going to go right down to the back of that queue. But Sebastian Mins was hungry to get it, but unfortunately he's now dropped back as well. So it's actually Phelps, Mackie, Mins, Proença and Gale that are having that magnificent battle, and George Nassar is up to 10th position trying to work his way forward. So considering that Nassar came up from essentially the tail end of the field, he is now working his craft beautifully.
Yeah, this is working well all the way through the field, really. As they go through, like you say, can say leading for second is the advantage that they've got so far. Sebastian Mins, though, trying to find his way through, but not managing it so far. It's just staying behind. You can see there is his driving style that he has as he looks down the inside here in towards turn 8. Nicely done, Roussel, down into P8 now. So
good battles there as Mins moves his way up past Romain Roussel. Kinsey is your leader. There's Hugo Magnas in the Cali kart, and then Sharp from Mackie and Phelps. And then we have Sebastian Mins ahead of Romain Roussel. Warning flag for Freddie Lloyd. Now, I don't know whether that's to do with the incident that took out Jensen Graham, but if that's the case, then one Fusion has been penalised for taking out another.
And what's the main rule in racing?
Don't take out your teammate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be the rule.
But we don't know that that's what happened. Like we only saw.
Yeah, we're literally speculating.
That is speculation. Before he comes to find us.
Well, indeed.
Yeah.
Up on the inside, though, Freddie Lloyd was making the move there on Angelina Proença. So Proença having to deal with the situation there. She made a great start, Angelina Proença, moving up into 4th position initially. And now, look, we've got these two still dueling, and that's commitment from Lloyd on the inside of Nassar. And as a result, Nassar and Lloyd are not letting each other go, and George Nassar will be bitterly disappointed with Freddie Lloyd's driving there, as now sliding up the inside, Proença is trying to shave his way through, Proença trying to shave up the middle there of the two opponents. Toby Gale trying to knit his way through on the inside there as well, and that's Tizi Kuznini in the middle of the mix.
That was very bravely done down the inside. Oh, you've got to be careful. Toby Gale, there you go, getting it done down the inside, not afraid to get that front of the car a little bit dirty, but like I say, gets that move done. Now he's under pressure though from the drivers behind. It's all starting to kick off a little bit. Kuznini is still there, and Kuznini was very quick in his previous race as well.
Certainly was. Kuznini and Dalakian are going to team up here and dive through on the inside line past George Nassar, as Toby Gale got past as well, and now that's going to be 2 moves in 1 for Tizi Kuznini. So Kuznini storms his way up there. Oh, and a problem further back. No, that's further up. We've got 2-3 carts off the road.
Well, there was a spin just out of the corner.
Oh, there's more going on.
Is there something on the circuit?
It wouldn't surprise me, because we've got, no, that's George Nassar. So George Nassar, after a brilliant charge forward, the Lebanese driver is off the road and out of it. So I wonder if that was just a little bit too close for comfort in the battles further back, but everybody else has had to take avoiding action. We had Kilian Josselin going off the road, Sacha Van Bad Bosch went off the road again, and then Bertram Saxer and Hugo Marti had to take avoiding action.
Very quick move there. Zandalin going down the inside of Sebastian Mins. Number 18 looking like he's on a move.
Poor George. I mean, he's had so much bad luck last year. He's now finally knocking on the door of the top 10. He hasn't had a chance to really prove it yet.
Yeah, it is a shame. Never nice. But hey, more races to go. The weekend's not over. It's only really just started for Junior X30. I've got to say, Hugo Manas seems to be catching up to the back of Thomas Kinsey. That gap is coming down a little bit as it's all chopping it. Actually, he's done it already.
Yeah, Sacha Van Bad Bosch is out of the race, by the way, as up the inside, Kinsey has another crack at Manias, and they're about to pass the scene of Sacha Van Bad Bosch's absent kart. So Sacha Van Bad Bosch actually coming off the road there. There is his kart, you just saw it. So that's race over for the Dutchman. But 3rd place, Aston Sharp, is suddenly now a factor in this race. Manias and Kinsey are 1st and 2nd, but Aston Sharp has a feeling he could go for the win.
I wondered what happened there, because Kinsey was leading when they crossed the line on this lap by 0.6 of a second, and then at turn 2 loses the lead. I mean, Manas really closed up. Or was it maybe a mistake? Did he run wide, did Kinsey at turn 2? I'm not too sure, because the gap was huge, and then it suddenly disappeared, and it wasn't there. Oh, that's never nice as well.
Well, that's Alex Martinez. He's out of the race now as well. I've got a feeling that you may have a point regarding the difference in gap between Kinsey and Manias. I wonder if Kinsey may have just caught some dust that had been thrown up at this point of the circuit, and all of a sudden it came away. Now Kinsey's getting back into it, straight up the inside of Manias, and there might be a chance for Sharp.
Yes, indeed. Sharp looking like Manias was like, oh, you could, but let's work together maybe.
Let's think about this long term, shall we? Let's not just get too eager and dive up the inside. Just work with me, with me.
Invest in 3rd place, and I'll try and increase that for you.
And then I'll completely turn rogue and not help you out at all. Up to Kinsey in the lead, Manias in 2nd, Sharp in 3rd, Mackie, Roussel, Phelps, Lloyd, Van Thalen, Mins and Proença, with Kuznini and Dalakian trying to work together to move into the top 10. It's been a crazy sort of race, actually, hasn't it? There's not really any real structure to it at all. Everybody's just been fending for themselves.
Yeah. In a way, yeah, that's pretty much spot on, I think. Yeah, it's just all kicked off early doors, then it calmed down, then it all kicked off again. Now it's calmed down again. Now we've got to see what happens on this final lap. Hopefully it's not going to all kick off again.
Well, Sharp is closing up on Manias. Manias closing up on Kinsey. That is, again, just how much time you can gain in the draft. Watch for Manias. Kinsey defending the inside line. Wait for the switcheroo, but Sharp is going alongside Manias, so he doesn't get the chance to enact it. So now they come up to the hairpin. in through the radius for 5, which tightens up to 6. Manias tries again on the inside of Kinsey. He hasn't quite got enough of a front fairing alongside. Tries again into 7. Not going to happen. Little bit of a charge down to the hairpin, but Sharp has a little bit of a look on the inside of Manias. That isn't going to happen. So Manias goes deep on the curbs, and I think that might be all she wrote. Kinsey holding the lead nicely.
Yes, indeed, which really bodes what happened earlier on with that 6/10 gap that disappeared. So, yeah, definitely. Well, final lap and only a few more corners to go. Like you say, I think Kinsey's done enough on this one to maintain that one. A good race from him. Like I say, started on the second row in P3, maintained it all the way throughout. No dramas whatsoever. So the Frenchman will cross the line. He'll see the checkered flag, and he'll take a race win at the end of the Junior X30 qualifying heat B and C from Manas. Sharp crosses in P3 from Harrison Mackie. Great result again, up into P4. One of the Fusion drivers that got away with it in that race.
Aston Sharp brutally disappointed as he banged his hand on the steering wheel before he'd even gone through the final turn. He knew he wasn't going to be close enough to close up on Manias or Kinsey, and he was bitterly frustrated in third position. He thought, I could have got that. I could have got that. He's only 3/10 off the win, but he will still feel, you know, I could have got that one. And that's where, you know, you get your frustrations bubbling over. Now, Kinsey in the lead of the race. His helmet's in the air. That he doesn't look particularly calm. Does he feel he's got a loose front fairing, I wonder?
It doesn't look oh, actually.
I think he's potentially feeling a little bit aggrieved. Maybe, just maybe he is a little bit fed up, and that might be the reason why he's come across the line in first place. But we've seen it a couple of times already. He's not particularly drinking in the moment, is he?
I wonder if we could stick with him, because yeah.
We'll have to go down into the pit lane and have a look. But for the moment, Thomas Kinsey is classified the winner in front of Hugo Manias and Aston Sharp. Harrison Mackie from Isaac Phelps and Freddie Lloyd, then Romeo Roussel and Raoul van Thalen. Dan Delakian in front of Tizi Kuznini, who does make the top 10 in the end. Toby Gale in front of Angelina Proenza, Sebastian Mins and Louis Comines. And then we have Wouter Bourguignon in 15th position. 16th place is Jensen Graham in front of Matt Corby. Considering both men flew off the road, that is not a bad return for the efforts. Then it is Bertram Sachs in front of Timo Koopmans, Hugo Marti ahead of Giovanni Tarazona, and then Kilian Josselin. The retirements, George Nassar, Sasha Van Bad Bosch, and Alex Martinez.